I can't believe I'm doing this with my pants off.
Test 1, 2, test 1, 2.
Check. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve.
Nick Reynolds, Steve Harness, and Cousin Brewski. The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve.
Take one.
Take one, and welcome to the show. It's The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve Brewski. We are back at it for another exciting podcast. Wherever you listen, welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
And by the way, take one. I can never just take one. I take 2, 3, 4. You know what I mean?
I've seen you take one before after taking several. It's a maintenance dose. Taking one is a maintenance dose. Am I correct?
Right.
Well, yeah. Let me guess. You take 1 for your family, and 2 because she left you, and 3 for your loneliness, and 4 for your heartache.
They're all for me.
Yeah. We're selfish when it comes to taking one.
Okay. You do know where that's from. I'm assuming.
No.
It's a Violent Femmes song.
Oh. I know Blister in the Sun. I know that one. I'm not a deep cut guy for Violent Femmes. So.
Welcome to the show, The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve Brewski. See our socials online, thevocalminority.net. We got a bunch of crap there for you to go check out.
Mainly, yeah. Some people find it entertaining. Some people find it quite offensive. So see which camp you're in.
Yeah, there are people that think it's disgusting, We told Brewski earlier we got a vote for him on the show this week. They singled him out. We'd be like guy number 3. I'm assuming they're talking about Brewski.
Yeah, they were. You were the third guy to appear in that little video clip, and you were going off on small children, and this guy seemed to like it. Yeah.
You should distinguish that. I mean, what do you mean going off on small children?
Going off, not getting off. That'd be terrible.
Oh, that's what I thought you said.
No, we were telling a story about some little kid said something hurtful to me, and Brewski was like, I would tell that little kid to just, telling him off.
Well, if there's one guy that'll step up and take care of business, it's Brewski. Inappropriate or not, he's always down. What are you? You're TCOB? Taking care of business?
Oh, yeah, baby, all the time.
Yeah.
Right. And speaking of Brewski taking care of business, Brewski put up our first ever billboard in Times Square in New York City. Now, granted, it was a bumper sticker, but it was right on a prominent post, like right there in Times Square. It was so cool. And we do have at least one new listener downtown New York City, I will tell you.
Get out of town!
Yes, dude. What do we think about that?
Yes, amen.
Yes.
Can't be a
Thank you,
coincidence.
Lord.
It had to be from that bumper sticker, dude. I mean, that'd be pretty coincidental, don't you think?
By that logic, print up 10 million of those things and we're in business. We just need 10 million listeners and then we can all retire.
I hope they saw it. I mean, the Times Square sticker would be cool, but it'd be even more cool if they happen to see the stickers I put up on the posts in front of the Fox News building.
Right? Hey, maybe Hannity's listening now. I mean, who knows? Maybe he's a fan. So.
A closet fan.
Right. We're bringing the worlds together around here. So there you go.
It's a possibility. We need to get more of those stickers made up, Harness, so we can distribute some in California, some in Washington, and
I had a friend in Michigan, Brewski, text me and was like, send me some of those. I'll stick them up around Ann Arbor. Like,
I still have some left over. I saved some because I have stuff to send you guys in the mail, and I'm going to put them in the packages for you, but I'm trying to save a few more to put up around town.
Yeah, well, we could print them some more, but I want one of the original first pressings. That'll be worth it.
I have them set aside for you guys already, so yeah.
All right, perfect. So, yeah.
Hey, dude, do you have your original VM t-shirt that you made?
Who are you talking
You, Harness.
No. I've got some old Buzz t-shirts. I don't think I have any Vocal Minority t-shirts.
I got the original, dude, that you made out of the, they were Champion brand t-shirts and had a Champion brand. Right? Yes, that's right.
Maybe in some box, right? But no, not that I'm aware of. So that's definitely worth money. I can authenticate it for you. So.
Oh, perfect. I was cleaning out my closet, dude, and I found that bad boy. And actually, Rachel held it up, and she was like, "You want to keep this, right?" And I was like, "Yes, dude.
Of course.
That's great.
Vintage VM."
On and on we go.
That's right. All right, everybody ready to go here for the day? Anything we need to know? Okay. All right. Let's just do it. Let's jump in.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
I need to know!
He needs to know, and he needs to know now.
Before we meet, there's some news you need to know about.
I need to know now.
Needed to know.
Need to know.
I need some news. I need some news.
The news needs to come from me.
The news has come.
Best news I've heard all day.
Okay, everybody, time to shut up and listen. This is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
News.
And that old news chant as we bring on the Paul Harvey of today,
Steve Harness.
I like that. All right. We did a decent job avoiding politics last week, but I got a couple I just got to throw out here. I'm going to kind of lump a couple in together. So we continue to talk in the show about the fact that I have no idea why any of you would still be voting for Donald Trump. I mean, not only did he lose the last election, which means he's probably going to lose again. I mean, the legal battles, the moral battles. He's come out. We know he's been railing on veterans. You know, the right is always so pro-troops, yet, you know, Trump's disparaging troops and whatnot. So a couple of new things coming out this week. First of all, I remember, this may have been a year or two back. One of our radio heroes, Howard Stern, was saying on his show that he's known Trump for years and that he finds it funny that Trump must hate all of his followers. That Donald Trump does not want to associate with these redneck types, you know.
No, uneducated poor people, like those are his least favorite people, and he's said it many times.
Yeah, and Stern had gone on a big rant about that, but now just this week, Olivia Troy, a former aide to ex-Vice President Mike Pence, she was on The View this week, and she detailed the fact that behind closed doors, Donald Trump was, quote, so disparaging of his followers that she was very frustrated that he would say he had nothing in common with these people. He detests them. So that's another fun note for you Trumpers out there. He doesn't like you. He thinks poorly of you. He thinks you're detestable, worthless human beings who he would never let into Mar-a-Lago or Trump Tower.
This is a guy who hates amputees. I mean, this is a guy who literally hates people who have served our country that are missing limbs. He hates them.
Let's remember that when Don Jr. was a teenager, just prior to going to college, he spoke to Donald and Ivana about possibly joining the army.
Right.
And he actually was told that if he did that, he would be disowned and completely cut off.
Yeah, he didn't want to be associated with the kind of family that would serve like that. Like, that's for poor people, dude.
And on top of that, by the way, that reporting came from the Washington Times, which is basically the print version of Fox News. So if they're sharing the story,
it's probably 10 times worse.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, we know he's gone off on Gold Star families. He's done that before. Of course, John McCain, he famously said, I like people that aren't captured.
And remember, he wouldn't go and visit the cemetery in Normandy.
Right. Yeah, because they were losers. They were losers because they didn't make it home.
Right. So, yeah, Donald Trump looks down his noses at all of you. I hope you understand that, especially if you're a veteran, especially if you're an injured veteran. But, we've been saying on the show for a while now, vote blue no matter who, that this next election it's really not Democrats versus Republicans. It's good versus evil. Yeah,
right.
It's just enough already with these third-party conversations out there. We talked an episode back how Arizona's got some new political party. They call themselves like the no-name party or something. Third party, we're not for Biden or Trump, but you can't do it. You can't split the vote right now. This is not an election to screw with. It is literally good versus evil. And who doesn't love Robert De Niro, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe that's a fact.
That's a fact. You talking to me?
Right, exactly. I mean, everyone loves friggin' De Niro. I'm sure Trump, being a wannabe New Yorker, I'm sure he loves Robert De Niro, who's lived in New York forever.
De Niro has famously, for the last 5 years, been very vocal about his hate and disdain for Trump. I don't think Trump likes him anymore.
Not anymore. But he's one of these sort of cultural icons that the conservatives, the redneck types, they all love Robert De Niro, too.
Sure.
So he's that's probably one of the reasons why Trump has spoken out so vehemently against him, because he knows it looks bad to have a American icon, speaking out against you. So
yeah.
De Niro's back this week, and he's got a brand new message. He did a little video thing. His main message, Trump's not bad. He's evil.
Well, that's true.
Going back to our point here of this is good versus evil. A couple of fun quotes here. Dinero, and I won't attempt to do it in a Bobby D voice here, but
thank you.
He said, I don't want to insult him.
Thank you.
He said, I've spent a lot of time studying bad men. I've examined their characteristics, their mannerisms. Yet there's something different about Donald Trump. When I look at him, I don't see a bad man. Truly, I see an evil one. He's a wannabe tough guy with no morals or ethics, no sense of right or wrong, no regard for anyone but himself, not for the people he was supposed to lead and protect. Referencing back to our other story just previous.
This is, when Rachel does lawsuits, she goes and hires an expert in the field.
Yeah,
I would think that this is an expert because, he's studied mobsters he's become these people. What's the movie, Brewski, with him and Nick Nolte, where, he's a prisoner and Nick Nolte's a lawyer? What was that movie?
Which what they were?
Oh, you're talking about Cape Fear.
Cape Fear, dude. I mean, that's one of the worst people you could ever get to learn about, know about, and become.
Yeah, and you're right. De Niro's one of those actors who likes to study the role and embody the role and all that.
Yes.
Method acting is what they call that.
Although I've always noticed Robert De Niro is one of the few actors who's allowed to kind of be the same in every movie. I mean, he's always Robert De Niro, right? He doesn't do different voices or, like...
When he played Max Cady, he kind of got away from him because he was Southern, so it changed him a little bit. But there's always an underlining De Niro in every part. Yeah, you can't get away from it.
Yeah, and your point is valid. Yes, he's been observing and studying Trump, and this is, somebody who's embodied serial killers and murderers, and who's like, boy, Trump's different than all those characters I ever studied. This
is true evil. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think we're actually going to break through to any of the Trump supporters, but I'm trying to rally those in the middle, and certainly those on the left, to not sit this one out, to call your friends and neighbors, your coworkers, tell them this is not the election to sit out. Get out there and vote for good versus evil. If you want to vote evil, well, I guess that's on you. But vote blue no matter freaking who, okay, people? That's all.
Speaking of Stern, did you see that, Stern has obviously, Donald Trump used to be on Stern's show all the time, obviously. Yeah. And, those shows are notorious for showing what a dirtbag Trump was or is. And at the time, it was made for entertainment. So it was kind of, something people got down with and thought, wow, this guy's outrageous and funny and blah, blah, blah. Trump, Stern has obviously denounced Trump, over the years and said, terrible. Trump came out and attacked him on True Social. I don't know if you saw that or not.
I did not see that.
Yeah, he was like, this Howard Stern is a has-been, and, he just went off on him. Loser. This guy is past his prime. Yeah.
Right. He used to beg to be on his show. So, that's hilarious. And you guys see a couple of weeks ago, Stern came out and said, yeah, I'm woke. I'm proud to be woke. Like, why would I want to be asleep at the wheel? Why do you want to be ignorant? Of course, yeah. What's with this negativity attached to being woke?
His thought process for being woke was, I guess for people like my brother who are on the Republican side and somewhat conservative as well, that I've tried to explain what woke actually means to them, right. and I can't seem to do it. It was so simplified. He said, you know what? I think the opposite of woke is being asleep and, closing, like you said, closing my eyes to things and not knowing what's going on around me. That's a great way to describe it for all those people who can't attach themselves to actually what woke means.
Yeah. I don't see why it's so hard to define. Everyone seems to have a hard time. Woke is being progressive. It's being open-minded. It's having empathy for others. What's the big deal?
The Conservative Party has painted the definition in a different light where woke means I promote being gay. I indoctrinate children. They've changed. They've tried to change the definition. I think that's where the lines are blurred.
I think right now they use woke much like they used to use PC. I'm not politically correct.
That's right.
And, and that's the new word now. But then the other problem with that though is that now, unfortunately, because of where woke comes from black culture, now it really kind of shows them for their racism.
Hey, my empathy is for a select crowd, and it has limits, ladies and gentlemen. That's what they're saying. Right. I'm not. It's not for everybody.
It's the latest pinata, the latest punching bag for them. Most of them, as we've seen, can't even define it when asked. It's just a boogeyman that they've been told to lash out against.
Woke is a joke.
And by the way, did you see on the 5? Well, what a Gutfeld or whatever the dumbass was. Like, he went on to when Howard Stern said he was woke, and he was like, he can't be woke. I like Howard Stern. I listen to him. How could he be woke? I like him. Like it doesn't even compute in their brains that somebody could be like, yeah, being woke is a good thing. It's okay to be progressive.
I guess to them, it's like finding out. You know what, dude? It was so funny. My neighbors, before Trump was, or right when Trump was elected president, my neighbors, I mean, I knew them like when I'd walk outside and talk to them across the fence type relationship.
Yeah.
But they invited us over, and we had just returned home from Europe. And they were like, how was the trip? And I was like, oh, gosh, this was the most interesting international trip I've ever taken. The way that people are looking at us Americans are as if we are a joke. I mean, Trump, I just started bagging on Trump. Yeah. Well, they were not reciprocating in the conversation. They were just kind of letting me talk. And I thought, oh, they just want to hear what I have to say. I'm brilliant.
Right.
But that was not the case. No, they never invited us over again and ended up moving. So.
That's funny. Well, good. That's to your advantage. So
exactly.
You did a neighborhood service there, Nikki. You didn't even know it.
All right. Are you putting something else into that story, or are you done?
I'm good for now. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, I'm very confused by the way that you mentioned that you're going to put.
I mashed a couple things together. I talked about the aid for Mike Pence, and then I went to Robert Dinero. So
I thought you were masking two stories together.
Well, those were two stories
separately.
No.
Like you did last week.
I know. Right. I'm just keeping you on your toes. Pay attention.
I will not.
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you this. We interrupt our program to bring you a special.
You can't make them.
We interrupt this program to bring you
the humanity, all the things.
A date which will live in infamy.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Need to know news. News you need to know.
Diving right in on the Queen of Canada, ladies and gentlemen.
Alanis Morissette.
That would be a better queen than I'm about to tell you about. I don't know. Have you heard about the Queen of Canada? No, it's not Celine Dion.
No, I don't know who the Queen of Canada is.
Queen of Canada. Her name is Ramona Didulo. Okay?
Trudeau's ex-wife?
No, dude.
Okay.
It's not
Enlighten us. I need to know this news.
All right. The Queen of Canada is a cult, or has a cult following behind it, and it's threatening public executions in small towns in Saskatchewan right now.
Oh, boy.
I will get into all of this because it's kind of a deep story, but the cult that has a following, Ramona Didulo, who claims to be the Queen of Canada, is threatening violence and public execution in Richmond, the town in the Canadian province of Saskatchewan, where the unhinged group has been residing for over the last month. I'd never heard of this lady. I'm like, what is this all about?
No. And isn't Saskatchewan kind of in the middle of nowhere too?
Yeah, it's actually it's right above Montana and North Dakota, actually.
Right, just north of Timbuktu, out in the middle of nowhere there.
Do they hang out in Moose Jaw? That's a really big city there in Saskatchewan.
I would assume so, yes.
In early October, the Queen's followers sent cease and desist emails calling out several local authorities by name and said if the town did not follow the Queen's decree, they would receive judgment, and if found guilty of crimes against humanity or treason, would face publicly broadcast execution.
Jeez. So it's the Canadian Taliban.
Yeah, there you go. Pretty much. Let me see. Let me find where this lady, I can tell you a little bit.
She's from the Philippines. I see that. She emigrated to Canada from the Philippines.
Yes. After being chased out of several towns in Canada, the cult settled in Richmond. One of the followers, this guy, his name is Rick. He says he owns private property that contains the old school in this town and has let them set up shop there. He said he'd been following her for 3 years, and she was saying everything he wanted to hear since she had arrived. He said they've been working like ants to get everything fixed up. In the wake of the threats, the local police in the area have become more alarmed, obviously, and there's a huge police presence there right now because they're making these threats. This isn't unassuming, like Brewski said, a Filipino woman. She was born in the Philippines. She claims she is the Queen of Canada. According to her official title, it's actually Commander-in-Chief, Queen, President, and National Indigenous Chief of the Kingdom of Canada.
How can she be an indigenous chief if she's not indigenous herself?
You're splitting hairs. Come on.
Covering all bases, dude. This is Ramona Didulo, one of the most prominent Canadian figures in QAnon's short history.
Yeah, I was going to say, take one guess who her favorite American politician must be.
Ramona Didulo is different than many of today's conspiracy influencers. Instead of promoting the theories online, she's attracted a traveling band of followers who are causing trouble across the Great White North. And here is her bizarre story. How did they get into this as they start to take the streets? Well, I'll tell you. According to Vice reporting agency, not much is known about her as a person. Didulo, before 2020, she appears to have been a failed entrepreneur who moved from the Philippines as a girl. She told her followers to get them going, like, I come from a bad background where when I moved to the U.S., I owned a nail salon. It went under, and I was then homeless. Then I came up with these ideas. She got into politics in 2020 as the only member of the Canada First Party shortly after she started saying she was the queen. But it was only after a well-known QAnon influencer vouched for her claim that she became extremely popular online. She kept getting bigger by threatening violence against politicians and people giving out the COVID-19 vaccine.
It sounds like she's milking the gullible masses to create a little career niche to make money off the, like Hannity's doing, like Trump's doing, like all of those types.
100%. I mean, she's definitely riding some coattails of crazy. This reporter says her ideas are slippery. I would say so. She mixes far-right QAnon conspiracies about Donald Trump getting rid of the elite cabal of child abusers with New Age philosophy. She even claims to be an extraterrestrial leader and healer. I mean, she's covering all bases here.
That's the most believable thing you've told me about her so far. So.
Yeah, well, that's probably true.
I see that she and 30 of her followers tried to take over the headquarters of the Peterborough, Ontario police.
I mean, this sounds like a Waco in the making. Some little cult that's going to take over a town or a government building, like you're saying. And then
she's been compared to that.
Really?
Well, yeah. I will say this: Peterborough Mayor Diane Tarian, she gets the hero award because she said to these people, "F off, you F-wads."
Yeah, they just need to do something egregious enough that Trudeau or whatever local mayor or whatever can go in there and shoot them, arrest them, whatever needs to happen, like Waco,
Violence is a key part of her philosophy. Shoot to kill anyone who tries to inject children under the age of 19 years old with a coronavirus 19 vaccine, bioweapons, or any other vaccine. Shoot to kill. And these followers that she's got lined up and are living with her, they're showing to be loyal. This definitely sounds like a terrorist group at this point,
Interesting. I almost want them to evade America, just so we can go, hey, look, it's not just the southern border we need to protect. We got a bunch of crazy Canadians now trying to break in here and be terrorists. So.
She does funny stuff, dude. Well, I mean, it's funny to me. The Queen of Canada had this convoy going. Remember when all those truckers were doing the big convoy? Yeah. She tried to get this whole thing together where, she would become a part of that, and it worked. She had a bunch of people that came up and wanted to be a part of her group, if only for a short time. She had them rent out rooms, hotel rooms, in case Putin was going to drop by the event. She had many people rent $300 a night rooms that just, obviously remained empty because she said Putin is coming.
It's hilarious. I don't know if I want her to keep bilking these gullible idiots or, if someone needs to throw her ass in jail.
You want to know what's even more odd about her having followers is she's obviously controlling and manipulative, but she is to her followers as well. The Queen treats her followers very poorly, subjecting them to busy work, making them. Let me put this on and see if you know what this is.
She disdains her followers. We heard that on the show already.
Oh yeah, that's true. Let me see if either of you know this.
That's hot for teacher, Van Halen.
She makes all of her followers listen to this on repeat for hours at a time. Boney M. Rasputin.
Is this an earworm? What is this song?
I don't think it's an earworm. It's a song that's made to drive people crazy.
Brainwash.
You know what this sounds like? This sounds very much like the music that they put underneath those Hezbollah training videos where they show them running obstacle courses and doing the monkey bars and stuff like that.
Sure.
I was gonna say, when I call my Indian restaurant here in town, I get put on hold. I hear this music. It may be part of it.
It sounds kind of Punjabi, which is not Middle Eastern, but yeah.
We'll see how long that she lasts, but for now she has traction. Her followers, she has asked them all to stop paying their bills because the banking system is fake and the debt would eventually be forgiven. Wow. They've started already. They've stopped paying bills. So
I blame Trump for all of this crap. I mean, I know Trump wasn't the first authoritarian in history, but he's in the modern era taken it to a whole new level that your Putins and whatnot can never dream of. So now you got people like this up in Canada.
100%.
Sorry, Canada. This is our fault. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll have to see what Justin Trudeau does about it, dude.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. I have this theory. I think we should do an alternate show. The silent majority or something, and we should just play conservatives. I guarantee you it would take off. Those 10 million followers I was talking about earlier, we could get it if we just played this role like these people do.
Do you think you could? Do you think you could actually do it?
That's a great question. I pondered that before. I mean, Stephen Colbert was famous for when he first took over after the Daily Show with Jon Stewart. It was a fake show. It was modeled after Bill O'Reilly.
Right.
And yeah, he played a conservative. And every now and again, you could even see him kind of break character and laugh at his own things he was trying to spew. And
wince.
Yeah, we may have to edit out some of our laughter and whatnot. But I'm telling you, these people are so gullible. They want to hear, they want to be preached to. The choir wants the preaching to. Yeah. It's why conservative media works and liberal, quote unquote, media does not. We liberals don't need to be preached at, but the conservatives, because they know in their heart they're wrong, but they hear it articulated well by a Hannity or a Limbaugh, and they're like, oh, that smart man on the TV feels like
they always say that Democrats fall in love, conservatives fall in line.
Yeah.
You mean they're sheep, Brewski? Is that what you're saying?
I believe they just do what they're told. That's all.
Yes. In this story, they're mooses, not sheep.
Meat, yeah.
Mooses,
exactly.
Meese, right, Brewski?
I think it's moose.
I don't know. I think it is still moose.
It's not.
I think meese is not.
No.
That is true. I'll tell you. I'll bet money on it.
I call them moosies. So look at all the moosies.
It's me. So Rachel just got back from from Alaska, dude. Plenty of people up there talking about the meese. Be careful.
But technically, according to Grammarly, the plural of moose is just that, moose.
Moose. Yeah.
What is the plural of moose? Does it end in S, rhyme with geese, or not change at all? The answer is the only correct plural of moose is moose.
Mooses.
Who's that with, dude? Who's your source?
Grammarly.
Oh, dude. Give me something reputable here, Brisky. Seriously, bro.
If goose or geese, then why aren't mice meese, right? Just like mooses.
Mice are not meese, dude.
Oh, I said if goose or geese, then mice should be meese, right? I didn't come up with that one. Well, it should be. If the English language is just so inconsistent. That's the point of that little.
Of course it is. Brewski, come on.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know. Start the news chant, please.
Come on. News. So
there you go.
Peace. Come on.
All you, Brucey.
Okay, usually you guys play a little entry for me, so sorry.
This one's a crazy Brewski.
Yeah, exactly.
It's time for another Brewski. This one is a crazy Brewski.
It's Pavlov.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we talk about all these people that are following the Queen of Canada and people who are following Hannity and all the rest of them who just don't think for themselves.
Yeah.
Don't seem to realize they're in a cult. Yes.
I'm bringing you a story here of something positive for the future. The youth of the youth going forward. At least one kid in particular, and that is Mr. Quinn Mitchell, who is 15 years old from Walpole, New Hampshire. He's a staple at New Hampshire political events. He was escorted out of a political event held by the state Republican Party on Friday because they actually accused him of being, quote, a Democratic operative.
And he was escorted out by police, wasn't he?
He sure was. Yeah.
So, and by the way, so what if he is a Democratic operative, quote unquote? So he's there with an agenda at a political meeting?
He's going to these these things, these events, and he's asking really good questions.
Nice. Got some examples?
He asked Ron DeSantis, do you believe that Trump violated the peaceful transfer of power? And that actually got him thrown out of there.
Wow. DeSantis does a really good job of not letting any real media ever ask him questions.
For sure.
I'm sure he probably thought this 15-year-old was safe and would ask about Teletubbies or whatever kids are into nowadays.
They've called him, the New Hampshire Republican Party have called him a disturbance who had to be removed. Yeah.
With all of his free-thinking ideas and questions.
And he was detained at a 4th of July event by the DeSantis campaign. His stormtroopers basically detained the kid because the kid wanted to ask him a real question.
And if you've seen this kid, I mean, this is Wally Cleaver. I mean, he's just so prim and proper and polite. And I mean, he's not there causing trouble. He's there asking real questions.
So hilarious because I always hear Republicans admonish the youth of America, but then when one of them becomes politically active and shows up, then they want him arrested.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know what it is they fear the new generation because they know the new generation sees through all of their garbage. They're not buying what their parents and what their grandparents have been suckered into by the Republican Party.
Well, that's why it's so easy for people like that to, be hoisted up onto their shoulders and celebrated. Like, Tommy Lauren, when she first took off, you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, Tommy Lauren. Yeah, the walking clothing allowance, as Charlie Pierce calls her.
Yeah, that's funny. I mean, when she first started, she just took off like a wildfire because, she can cover the topics for sure, but she was saying all the right things for the conservative party. She was being racist without being overtly racist. And then she started just being overtly racist, but she could, fight it and back it up.
Well, she's racist Barbie, basically.
And that's right.
Kind of stuff. She's a good-looking blonde with racist opinions. I mean, that's a conservative dream come true right there. And this kid Brewski's talking about, I mean, it fits right in line. Whenever there's a rising liberal star, the conservative side just freaks out on an AOC or a Pete Buttigieg or even Hillary Clinton back in the days. I mean, she was branded a liar over and over for years and years and years because eventually she'd run for president. And it worked, by the way. Back in 2016, there were college kids saying, "Oh, Hillary's a liar. What does she lie about?" I don't know. I've just been hearing that forever.
Totally. Yeah, they just beat it into him. This, you mentioned to me a couple of weeks ago, maybe, that you've been watching videos from David Pakman.
Yeah.
This is another guy that I can't believe hasn't completely exploded because he's a younger dude. I mean, he's probably a little younger than we are. And he's got great ideas, but already the conservative party just hates him. I see him get more attention from the conservative side of things than the liberal side of things.
Yeah. I had never heard of him, and now I'm seeing him everywhere. And seems like a smart, well-spoken dude. And not to keep referencing Howard Stern, but Howard Stern gave the guy a plug. That's where I was like, oh, really? He's this big, huh? Like, geez.
It's true.
Yeah, so, no, he's a smart dude. And he's charging $6 a month for followers and seems to be doing okay, so.
Yeah.
Have us on your show, Dave.
Yes, please. Bring us. Brewski would love to talk to you about beating children when they act up and how to do it in a liberal way.
Yeah. No, see. That's the one thing.
You got any other good anecdotes from this kid?
Yeah, there's some stories here where he was walking along. This was at a parade on the 4th, and the kid was walking along trying to ask him a question, and some of DeSantis's campaign staff and also somebody from his PAC. There's actually a video of it, of them grabbing his shirt and yanking him back and bodying him and pushing him away from DeSantis.
A minor, by the way. Hello.
Yeah. Save the children, dude. Save the children.
Isn't that funny? They're abusing a child when all of their conspiracy theories seem to be based on abusing children and the pizza dungeons and whatnot. You know?
Well, but here's the other thing, too, is that he's not just asking Republicans hard questions. Whenever any politician, national politician, comes to New Hampshire, he asks questions.
That's right.
And tough ones. He went to Amy Klobuchar to ask her about the Mueller investigation. And,
did she have him arrested and beaten?
No, although, I mean, by the way, she's actually famous, and I'm going to tell a story here that may not paint her a Democrat in the right light, but whatever. She actually gives tardy slips to staffers who show up to the office late.
In fairness, those tardy slips are printed on hemp. It's a very liberal thing.
Yeah, they're sustainable.
Right.
Well, so my main point on that is that he doesn't just go at Republicans with hard questions. Any politician he encounters, because to him, he'd say in the articles, he says, I'm into politics and I need to ask the right questions no matter what party that they belong to.
I think it's great. Here's your homework assignment. See if we can get this twerp on our show.
Quinn Mitchell?
He's probably got more followers than we do at this point. So
yeah, probably.
I would love to talk to a 15-year-old who's politically savvy and smart and motivated enough to show up at these kind of things and get called out like that. That's freaking awesome.
I mean, he went and asked Chris Christie questions and didn't even back down from him. And Christie actually answered his question, didn't dodge him, and Christie just kind of smiled, kind of like one of those things like, I kind of like this kid, you know?
That's great.
Yeah. No, he's good. It would be fun to have him on the show for sure. What's his name? Quinn Mitchell?
Quinn Mitchell.
All right.
Quinn the Eskimo. Get him on here.
Need to know news.
I said, oh, Lord Jesus, it's a fire.
News you need to know.
I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that.
I believe the children are future. Teach them well and let them lead the way.
By which we mean bring them on a podcast and let's exploit them. Interesting. Okay. This is an interesting story. I've actually had this one sitting in my coffers for several rounds. We never get to it, so I want to get to it today. We talk a lot about music on this show, and some of our favorite bands come up a lot. Metallica, Pearl Jam on my side. Nick Reynolds, what shirt are you wearing today on this fine podcast for anyone who's listening only?
It's DMB, Dave Matthews Band.
Nick's a proud supporter of the Dave Matthews Band.
Indeed.
Our own cousin Brewski, though, has a widely held opinion of what DMB fans are. Brewski, remind the audience. What's your stereotypical image of Dave Matthews fans?
They're hippies for the weekend. They want to just be hippies for the weekend, but then go back to work on Monday wearing their regular clothes and everything like that. It's just
what number of show are you on? How many shows have you been to?
I'm not trying to.
I don't have to go to are you kidding me? I would rather stick knitting needles in my ears than go to a Dave Matthews show. Absolutely.
You haven't even ever been, dude. How could you say that?
Because I don't even like the music. I mean,
you haven't heard it.
I have too.
What have you heard?
I heard the radio Dreaming, the entire album, because when I first came out, I had a roommate who played that incessantly, nonstop. And how many times have I heard Crash and a lot of the other stuff too?
I can never understand this, by the way. Like somebody who says, like, there's certain bands that I understand you don't love them, but I don't understand you could say, like, the Rolling Stones just suck. Like Dave Matthews.
I love the Rolling Stones.
No, I'm trying to make an example of somebody who writes good music. The Rolling Stones, like, they write good music. It may not be your cup of tea, but I don't understand someone who would say just they suck. Same with Dave Matthews. Like, there's nothing
There's some bands
there's no novelty about it or trendiness. It's just
you know what it is? There's just some bands that you hear and you just get an awful reaction. And that's what it is for me. Were
you molested with that album playing or something?
It just doesn't. It's just them. You know, another one that is actually even worse than that is that gets me really sick.
Led Zeppelin.
Mumford and Sons. Holy crap!
What are we talking about here? Mumford and Sons and Dave Matthews Band, dude. I mean, wait, this is no comparison. Why would you put them in the same category of unlistenable music?
I'm saying that I get a bad reaction from them. I'm not saying other people.
What's with the modern adult acoustic rock that bothers you so much? You brought up Ray LaMontagne once. He's a phenomenal artist. Like, what is he?
Oh, no, my God. I can't even sit and listen to it. I've tried.
It's so funny.
I've tried because people are like, oh, this is a really great artist. You should give a listen to. I just can't do it, man.
Wow. Where do you think that comes from? Is there any acoustic rock? Do you like acoustic Led Zeppelin, for example? Is that what it is? Is it like the mellow acousticness that you don't like?
No, because I'll tell you what. Have you ever heard the acoustic version of Nutshell by Alice in Chains?
I don't know that I have, no.
Oh, my God. I will tell you this. I mean, it brings a tear to your eye. It absolutely does.
Dave has a song about children dying. Maybe that'll make you cry. You'll like that.
No, it's like I said,
it's not willing to give it a chance, dude. It's not willing.
It's not every. You know what, Nikki? If you bought me a ticket to go with you to Dave Matthews Band and supplied me with all the booze and drugs I want and food I wanted for the weekend, maybe I would go.
Wow. Okay.
I don't want you to go, dude. I would kill myself before I went to a show with you, dude. It sounds like the most depressing thing I've ever heard of in my life.
Harness went to Pearl Jam with me, and we had a great time.
Yeah, but you like Pearl Jam. I don't want to beg you to like someone who's talented and makes good music. If you don't like him, you don't like him. If you think it's good
music, that's fine. It's just not my cup of tea. I don't know why it bothers you. I don't like them.
No, it bothers it. I don't even know that it bothers me, but I'm willing to fight with you about the fact that it just, if you don't like somebody, that's one thing. But to think that, all their listeners are douchebags and
I have a cousin who actually travels from here in Massachusetts to go to the Gorge show. And I will tell you what, him and his wife, and I love him because he's family, but he's not somebody I want to spend a lot of time around. And they are insufferable. And whenever you're around them, that's all you effing hear is Dave Matthews Band. No. Sorry, but I can't do it.
You got a new friend in the making, Nick. Next time out to the Gorge, you guys.
I got the wrong brewski, dude. I got the wrong brewski.
Well, back to my original point. I love winding you up and want you to go like this, but
of course,
in your image of the typical Dave Matthews fan, what ethnicity would they fall into?
Who, me or Brewski?
No, Brewski.
Me, probably. I would say Caucasian if I had to guess.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I'm not to say that I'm sure that there are people of many different ethnicities who go to his shows. I'm quite sure of it, but I would say that predominantly it's Caucasian.
Probably. Nick, what do you actually observe anecdotally as the racial, mix-up? I live in a very white town, Tahoe. Skiing is a very white sport. And when I see a black guy in this town, he stands out. I'm like, oh, hey, black dude. That's cool. So at Dave Matthews shows, what's the ethnic breakdowns that you see?
People of color don't stand out there. I mean, there's enough people of color who attend the shows, black and brown people that you don't be like, oh, wow, he likes Dave too. But there's definitely more white people there than people of color.
And I think it would be safe to say that is the stereotypical assumption of Dave Matthews fans. That
sure.
Dirty white college kids or whatever, or older hippies now. But so I found this article on NBC News. Like I said, this came out actually a few weeks ago, and I keep just meaning to get to it. This is from Quincy, Washington.
Ooh.
Decades ago, it was a rarity to spot a black face amongst the hundreds of white concert goers at a Dave Matthews show, Phish, or the Grateful Dead. Now it's common to see a sprinkling, at least, of black people at these jam band events. Little black kids sport band T-shirts, and black couples pull up to venues in cars covered in band decals and bumper stickers, and they fit in right at home. Let's see here. Quote, it's, I like dancing to the music and screaming my lungs out, says this 15-year-old kid. It was at the last show of the DMB's annual 3-night stint at the Gorge Amphitheater in Washington.
Woo!
Our own Nick Reynolds was there in attendance for those shows. So the point of this article is these jam bands, they've known for their dedicated cult-like followings with loyal fans traveling from show to show during tour seasons, rarely showering. I added that, sorry. Eager to attend as many concerts as possible. But yeah, the point of this article is that there is a ever-increasing year-to-year number of minorities that are really getting into Dave Matthews, Fish, the Grateful Dead.
All I can say is the Dave Matthews Band anyway has, people of color in the band and have always had people of color in the band. So
yeah, that's a very fair point. What's the ratio, actually? Back in the original days, 50-50 almost, right? White guys to black guys?
Yeah, back in the original days, but even now, I mean, there's three black guys in the band consistently, and I guess it's still 50-50 pretty much, I guess.
Yeah. So the audience is catching up to the racial diversity of the band itself. Now,
right.
Fish is all white dudes, obviously. Grateful Dead, as far as I know, it's all white guys nowadays. But
I think they do have, now that they're dead and company, I think they do have some people of color that play with them from time to time.
We're not just talking about John Mayer. I hear he's black below the waist. Otherwise, I have no idea how he keeps getting so many hot women.
He actually just had a show last week here in Boston at the Garden, and I will tell you what, I was amazed. It was wall-to-wall women on Causeway Street, which is right in front of the Garden. And I'm talking, it had to have been, if I had to guess, probably 95% women to men going into that show that night.
Yeah, I bet there were some honeys out there, dude.
Oh, there were, absolutely.
I watched the show that you're talking about, and it was a really good show.
I dig John Mayer. I don't love him, but the women sure as hell do. He did get Jennifer Aniston at one point. Anyone who can achieve that. And it's a testament. I was just telling somebody the other day that these things hanging on my wall over here, guitars, still getting me laid. I'm 47. The women just freaking love a guy that can pick up a guitar. And if you can sing, oh boy.
I don't know that that's true, dude. I don't know that you're telling the truth right now. Listen, you're telling me without that guitar that you wouldn't be boning right now?
I think it would be significantly harder.
With who? Your girlfriend?
With every woman I've ever been with, basically. I mean, I didn't get laid until I got into a band, and then it was women, extravaganza.
Sure.
Life when we first started dating. The girl I taught guitar in Seattle that I was hitting on. There's, oh yeah.
But at this age right now, you don't think that you would have the numbers of poon that you have had without those guitars?
It would be like saying, could Mike Tyson win a fight if he had a broken wrist? Maybe, probably. He could probably still pull it off, sure. But when he's got both guns going, it's a no contest.
It's a panty dropper.
Oh, you take that guitar out. Let me tell you, every woman I've ever been with. And it's not like I'm putting up some front. I really do play. I really do love it. But, man, you take out the guitar. I mean, the Hindenburg used to require me to bring it with me whenever I would go see her. Really? And yeah, even Dottie recently has been like, it's been a few weeks since you played guitar for me. Like, they love it. So,
is it? Answer me this, dude. Is it uncomfortable playing one-on-one for them, like staring at them and playing?
No, is the short answer. I mean, I played in front of so many people that I just sort of go into my own little zone there.
But there's an element of that it's a thin line between being cheesy and great, right?
Yeah. So I always tell everyone, and I think I've said this on the show before, like, I'm not a jukebox. I'm not playing requests.
Yeah.
I will pick up the guitar and I'll play. I'll play something I wrote or something I've been fooling around with, and just let me play. And doing that, I'm totally comfortable. If somebody was like, I want to hear my favorite Beatles song, like, no, this is not karaoke night. Like, it's not what I'm here for.
Yeah, that makes sense, dude. That makes sense.
Yeah, and I'll play for a few minutes or 30 minutes. I mean, I don't know. I just get in the zone and just have a little fun. And women love it.
You should have women dance nude for you while you're playing. I mean,
I've had them laying next to me nude before while I'm playing. Oh, that's happened many times. So, yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's something, dude. Wow.
Yeah, I told this to my son recently, who's learning how to play guitar. Like, dude, guitar is awesome. It's fun. It's it's creative. It's really going to help you with women, though. Let me tell you.
He kind
of rolled his eyes.
Dropper.
Yeah,
wow.
he rolled his eyes at me. Well, I said, you give it a little time. Don't worry.
Well, you know why he rolled his eyes? Because it's your dad telling you that. Like if a buddy told him that, he'd be like, "All right, cool." But I mean, nobody wants to talk to their dad about that kind of stuff.
Probably not, but I'm that dad that'll slip it in there. Just telling you, there's many strengths to learning to play guitar, son. That's all. So.
Yeah,
there you go.
Oh, yes. And you'll see a bunch of black people at Dave Matthews shows now. That's my point. We're diversifying everything in this world, including our jam bands. So.
Fantastic.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
Hello, Americans. This is Paul Harvey. Stand by for news.
Hey, dude, when I pulled this, thank you. When I pulled this story today, I was like, oh, man.
I was pulling the old story earlier, too. Are we talking about masturbation? What are we talking
No, dude.
Sorry.
When I pulled the story from the news cycle, I thought to myself, I seriously couldn't remember if we had talked about it on the show yet or not. And then I thought to myself, I'm terrible. That I wouldn't remember a story we've talked about on our show, but I guess I'm terrible today. I got to ask, dude, have we talked about
that too? I did that to you like a month ago. I told you that Neil wanted us to talk about her seeing Biden here in Tahoe, and you were like, dude, we talked about that too.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I was like, we did? So, okay.
Have we talked about Lara Trump in the last week or two?
I don't think so.
No, we have not. I know, no, we haven't.
All right. Well, I'm going to talk to you about Lara Trump then, who is Eric Trump, the bastard of the Trump family's
the dumb one
wife.
And that sells you a lot when you're called the dumb Trump.
Yes. Lara Trump is I don't know. I have a hard time calling her a musician, but I suppose she's a musician, and she's got a song that was just released on the charts.
Do black people come to her shows? No.
I doubt it very, very much.
I don't like hearing you call her a musician, by the way, but go ahead.
I know. That's what I said. I don't know what else to call her. She tries to play music.
A singing artist, maybe?
I don't even...
A singer?
I guess.
A musical wannabe? I don't know.
That's probably the best description.
Yeah. Corey Haim are on tour this summer, so check them out.
I would put her in the same category as Corey Haim. Yeah. And the song she has released is a cover track, and it just kills me that she even covered the track. Are you ready?
No, but go ahead.
Already just...
Well, I won't back down.
Oh.
No, I
it's blasphemy, dude.
Down.
We're Tom Petty rolling over in his grave right now.
Right, because Tom Petty, before he died, was notorious for saying, like, don't play my music at Trump rallies. I don't want to play it. I don't give permission, blah, blah, blah.
And she sounds terrible. Is that singing? I don't even know what that is.
How would you describe it, Brewski?
You know, that's worse than when I was singing on karaoke with the cousin. And that's saying a lot.
Would you rather see Dave Matthews or Lara Trump live? You better answer this right.
You'd rather see... No. Come on, dude. This is not a hard question.
Don't hurt us.
Wait a second. You're telling me that nobody at a Dave Matthews Band show is on, like, mushrooms or anything?
Oh, sure.
Sure they are. We're saying you have to watch them sober. So if you have to watch Dave Matthews sober or Lara Trump, who are you going to go see? Come on.
Just kill me.
Oh my God! You'd take death rather than see him at a concert, dude. I have a hard time believing that.
Okay, as many drugs as you want for either of them. Now, who you're going to go see?
Well, I'll go see Dave Matthews, but I'll tell you what, this would be hilarious on drugs to hear her. You know.
Well, that might be a fair point.
And could I throw tomatoes at her too? That would really be fun.
Of course. What the hell, man? She covered a Tom Petty song. That's terrible. And she really does not sound... I'm not trying to just be a dick about it. She sounds terrible.
Yeah, right?
I think she did it because because Tom Petty's estate sent them a cease and desist letter because Trump was using that song at his rallies.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
you can cover anything.
No, but think about it. I think she did that song in particular out of spite. And I wouldn't put that past Trump to get her to do that, or for her to be like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna do this. You know, F them. You know.
Yeah. Oh, that hurts me.
Lara Trump, like I said, who's married to Trump's second son, Eric, released this cover of Tom Petty's Won't Back Down, debuted at number 10 on Billboard's digital song sales chart this week, beating new music from the Stones, U2, and Lady Gaga.
This is what that country artist was referring to a couple episodes back.
Maren Morris, exactly, Steve.
Yeah, she said she's quitting because people are getting tried in a small town. All these, they're doing it out of spite. They're not. Yes. They're doing it to stick it to the libs, not because it's good music or anything else. It's just a political protest, and that disgusts me that she would debut on any chart.
But you know what? Laura's not happy with what has happened. Despite the apparent success in those charts, the song and its singer have been plagued by controversy since the release. What could it possibly be? The track was originally released on Apple Music, but a few days later, Lara and Eric accused the platform of shadow banning her. According to the couple, Apple Music and Spotify have buried the song way down, and they believe Laura's connection to the Trump's family is to blame. Sadly, she said, it's to be expected with her last name. I wish I was surprised, but I'm not. I haven't contacted Apple Music because I'm leaving that to my music producer, but it's obvious to everyone what's happening. My song doesn't even come up as an option for people. Why, are you searching it on Spotify?
Yeah, I am. Here it is. No, I mean, it's probably 10 selections in, but it came up under I Won't Back Down.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't know. She's not happy, and she's saying her musical producers are going to look into this a little deeper and see what's going on and why it's not even a bigger hit than it already is.
What a Trump she is. We're looking into this. There's something going on. Conspiracy.
It's rigged. Yeah. And now Tom Petty's estate is going after her, saying this is in the same spirit of Trump playing this at his rallies. You know, you're doing it for the same reason. Yeah. So, verbally, they've gone after her. They're waiting to see if legally the estate will go after her.
They can go after her for royalties, I'm sure, but you can't stop somebody from covering a song. You can just make sure they're paying, royalties to you, but you can't tell someone they're not.
Well, when you're an artist and you tell Trump you cannot play that at your rallies or whatever, how does that work?
Well, that's your recording. You have ownership over your own property. So the Tom Petty or his estate can say, you cannot play the Tom Petty version of I Won't Back Down. That's ours. We own the rights to it. But anyone can cover the song. And if they want, you can cover any song, and if you publicly perform it, there's no royalties due. That's why every band in America plays cover songs. But if you record it, produce it, and sell it to distribute it, you can still do it, but you're on the hook for royalties guaranteed.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens, but yeah.
They'll fade away into obscurity to like all this spiteful hit single crap that we're seeing on the country charts and all that stuff.
I don't hear, we were, every which way we looked, we were hearing Small Town, Try It in a Small Town. Yeah. That new Oliver Anthony song, Richmond, north of Richmond, we were hearing, it's got a month or two.
Yeah, all those songs spiked, and then they fell off the charts because there was nothing sustainable about the hit. A real hit stays on the charts for weeks or months because people are continuing. But when there's just spike buying, like everyone spikes in that first week or two, and then it's done. So
yeah, exactly. So
speaking of being done, we
got to be done ourselves, dude.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming to the show today, guys.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I appreciate it. I needed to hear.
A pleasure.
Oh, hey, you know what? I got to say this as we leave, all right? Because if I don't say it now, it'll be too late. Suzanne Somers, Chrissy. I mean, come on, dude. She passed away. She's no longer with us. Those are the first blondie boobies I remember at really tuning into TV for when I was a kid.
Absolutely. Three's Company was one of my favorite shows as a kid. I can't fathom that show ever existing nowadays where the main male character pretends to be gay. And what was even the premise of that show? The landlord wouldn't let a guy live with two girls? Like, what landlord has that sort of control?
No, you believe me, dude. You don't follow the rules. You don't pass the application, dude. I mean, I'm sure it happened all the time.
It was Southern California in the 1970s. Like, I never understood that basic premise. But as a kid, I just went with it. Oh, he's got to pretend to be gay for some reason.
Think about Bosom Buddies, dude. It was a big problem back then.
Yeah, well, no, with Bosom Buddies, though, that was a hotel that was just for women. That was the difference.
That was a little better. Yeah,
a little better. You're right.
But yeah, no, I love John Ray. I love Three's Company. And Suzanne Somers, yeah, I mean, she was spank-worthy for sure.
Yeah, I think Janet DeWitt from original Joyce DeWitt is the only one that's left from original cast of the three, I mean.
Oh, okay. Richard Klein is still alive.
Richard Klein's still alive and looks fairly good. Larry. And I think whoever stepped in for Suzanne Somers is still alive, too.
Oh, Priscilla Barnes.
That's right.
No, that's classic.
And then Jenny Lee Harrison was in the middle because she was Chrissy's cousin.
That's right.
And then they brought Terry, the nurse, on at the end.
That's right. And then Bo and Luke moved into the third room at one.
Well, goodbye. Goodbye. We wish you well in whatever world you've crossed over to, Suzanne Somers.
She was the Thigh Master, right?
She was the Thigh Master in more than one way, I'm sure.
There was some master going on between my thighs thinking of her.
There we go. It wouldn't be the vocal minority with the death announcement if we didn't, spice it up a little bit.
Hey, that's the way to pay tribute to someone. When I die, please to someone say, "Oh, I used to masturbate thinking of that guy." I'd be like, "Thank you." That is my legacy.
That is a legacy, dude. All right. The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve Olabruski, our webpage online at thevocalminority.net. Until next time.
Later, dude.
Test 1 2, test 1 2.
Stop. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve.